ジョーの野郎。鬼姫が完全にぶっ潰しやがって。
Oh my god. Hello everyone, welcome to Joe Consumes Cinema. I'm your host, Finding Peace in the Past, and today we have Ashita no Joe, episode 63. So last couple episodes, just really sullen, and, the whole state of things with Joe and the mental hang-up, and he can't move past Rikishi's death, even subconsciously. He just can't throw a punch that he thinks might kill someone, and that basically means he's very limited in what he can do in the boxing world. Now, he's still good enough, just attacking the body to, bang out some rookies here and there, but, upper echelon, that number one ranked Harajime guy, and also Tiger, the champion, yeah, he can't beat them that way, which is really messed up because he's clearly better than both of them. Like, he had Tiger hurt in the first round from a body shot. If he was just able to fight like he normally fights, he'd easily get him out in there in like a round or two. Harajima, same thing, just a lot faster. That guy even, managed a worse performance than Joe, honestly, like, all things considered. Joe was like maybe 2 seconds away from victory there, and just, the mental hang-up, and, he threw up blood at the end. It's a messed up situation all around, and it's the first time I'm actually really frustrated with the story, just because it's the first time that I really disagree with what Dangpei did, deciding not to tell your fighter, this weakness that obviously is going to show up in a fight. It goes against everything, all his experience and knowledge has really come in handy throughout, everything that we've been through, and to have him, hold that back, I guess in a way maybe he just didn't want to admit himself that, if Joe can't get beyond this, then he's done as a fighter. And things ended last episode with, him basically saying those exact words where, like, he's done, I'm going to have a talk with him and tell him to basically retire. And then Joe, listening to it, defies him and just immediately starts training again. So he's determined to come back. I know there's a way to come back. I personally think the solution is to actually visit Rikishi's grave, kind of put the whole issue to rest, so to speak, in, more ways than one. Also, maybe a conversation with Yoko again. Hopefully it goes better this time, because she's been watching what's happening to Joe, and she's not happy about it. I mean, she talked about how, her plan is to come up with this means of, destroying Yabuki Joe, and I think it's kind of like her way of making him keep his promise to Rikishi, like forcing him to rise above. Honestly, I viewed her as the bigger threat, so I thought we were going to get past, the whole boxing chairman, their plan was going to backfire because Joe was going to come through when he needed it the most, and he just didn't. So I just want to find out what happens, so let's just get right to it. The final challenge. He's still training really hard.
見たかい、あのすげえ顔。
なんかこうさえねえかんな。
いつぞやは涙橋を逆に渡るなんてケーキの言い方言ってたんだけどな。
Classic. Never ever talk shit against Joe.
おいち。
He's still physically strong as hell.
お前が今力いっぱい殴ってるのはちょうど力士のテンプルのあたりや。それはよう分かってる。いくら打ったかてサンドバッグはサンドバッグや。生きた人間やないんやで。
Yeah, that's the difference. He's gonna break the sandbag. Called it. He still feels sick.
西もいいよ。縫うのはやめなよ。
Joe seems determined, even if these two aren't.
あ、おっさん。俺明日一人でボクシング協会行ってくるからな。
え？ジョー、協会に何の用があるんや？
試合の申し込みに決まってるじゃないか。
何？
チャンピオンの尾崎、1位の原島がダメなら、次は2位の南郷に決まってるじゃないか。
Number 2 ranked Nango.
これは俺の最後の挑戦さ。へへ。へへ。ヤッホー！
Looks like they agreed.
かわいそうだが、これで矢吹町も一巻の終わりだ。満足な体にもなっていないというのに、続けてもう一試合しようなんて完全に命取りだ。
はい。矢吹は直接協会に申し入れたとか。
Huh, that's pretty quick.
あんな負け方をした上、十分な期間も置かないで試合するなんていけないわ。
Yeah, it's a fast turnaround.
大丈夫。西陽子。
Who the hell is that? He's not Japanese.
私、ドルを呼ぶ男のハリー・ロバートね。マネジメントには命をかけてます。
ちょっとトレーニングは飛ばしすぎた。矢吹君、私は力石君を殺したあなたをこのままダメにはさせません。絶対に。
あんな調子で続けたらほんまに死んでしまいますよ。
ジョーのやつは死ぬまでやるつもりなんだよ。
Again.
これで3度目や。
He's still throwing. Oh my god. I know it's an old sandbag, but being able to do that consistently is really insane. Has a lot of power. We've got some international flight here. What the hell is this?
Hey, Carlos!
So she brought in a ringer from outside. He looks pretty big.
正直言って今度の試合にセコンドとしてつくのは辛いんじゃよ。まあ恥ずかしい試合だろうが仕方がねえ。奴の最後を見ててやろう。
俺は辛くも恥ずかしくもねえぜ。力石徹だ。あいつの亡霊がジョー、お前にはもう負けたよって言うまで俺はやるつもりだぜ。
I like that.
それでもダメなら矢吹城一巻の終わり。それが俺と力石との掟なのさ。掟なのさ。掟なのさ。
He's aiming that punch up for Kishi's jaw, taller fighter. Quick reminder to like, comment, share, subscribe. Also consider signing up for my Patreon. For $1 per month, you get access to all my exclusive reactions, also a guaranteed movie request. With that, let's get right back to the reaction. Oh yeah. Okay, took some time just to gather my thoughts. Episode 63, really good one. So Joe has, purposely backed himself into a corner. He went to the Boxing Association and requested another fight. Of course, they gave it to him. It's only a week out, so, he's rushing into another fight after, that disaster from the last time. And it's interesting. Joe has finally admitted that this whole thing, these last two fights, is him fighting Rikishi's ghost. And, he's not going to give up until he hears Rikishi's ghost tell him, you win. So, in that sense, it's really motivating. At the same time, it's just a very sullen atmosphere in the Dankpei gym. Neither Nishi or Dankpei believe Joe is going to pull this off. It's only him, and he's obviously filled with self-doubt. And he's kind of trying to get around that through, brute force. He just relentlessly trains over and over again. We saw him doing road work, and, he's completely focused on it and nothing else. He's hitting the heavy bag, so hard multiple times that the thing breaks open. We see it get sewn back up twice in this episode. Just the act of him relentlessly hitting that heavy bag over and over again, purposefully aiming up so the punches, reach a taller opponent's jaw, Rikishi, obviously, just doing that over and over again is really taking its toll on him. Physically, but also more just like emotionally. Like it's making him sick to do that over and over again. He's just trying to brute force it. I really think, this is like a spiritual wound in a lot of ways, and I think visiting Rikishi's grave is really the solution here, trying to make some peace with it. I thought we were going to get a conversation with Yoko because she was in this episode. She's up to something really weird. So she's turned to the international scene in order to bring in someone that she thinks is really going to push Joe in a way where, only someone living up to that promise that the two made, where Joe has to come back and, really achieve something. He can only achieve victory against, someone of this higher caliber if, he's fully back and he's fully committed and he's actively, keeping that promise. So her plan is kind of like strange in a way because she's trying to do everything she can to destroy Joe, but in a way it's what might bring him back and actually, cause him to be something more than he currently is, become like a real champion. Right now where Joe is at like level-wise, he's totally capable of becoming, the Japanese bantamweight champion. We saw his fight with Tiger, we saw his fight with the number one ranked guy, Hirajima, and yeah, he's better than those guys. He just needs to fight to his full potential, and he can totally be champ. Now, we focused almost entirely on the Japanese scene throughout this entire show, but I think gradually we're starting to graduate to the international scene, and that's where it gets really interesting because boxing is way bigger than Japan. Japan is a very big part of it. I personally think Japan is the mecca of boxing. It's got a lot of heart and history that is undeniable to the boxing world, but boxing itself is very worldly, and you should be fighting more people than just the Japanese. I knew we were going to get to that sooner or later. I just didn't think, she would bring in, a ringer, quote unquote, and have it happen so early. I thought we'd have to have Joe get to the championship level in Japan and then, graduate to international. But, I'm not mad about it. This Carlos guy looks interesting. He looks pretty big, and, if he's outside talent, chances are he's, highly regarded. So it's going to be interesting for the future. But right now we're, hung up on this final fight. It's a do or die moment for Joe. I think he's going to rise to the occasion. I really hope to see him visit Rikishi's grave because I just think that more than anything is going to let him get past this in a way that, training hard, words of encouragement, it just isn't enough. It has to be something more than that for Joe to fully put this issue to bed. But yeah, I'm going to get to that right now because I just want to find out. But as always, thanks for watching and peace.